get in here, guys. Good evening. It has been an extremely long day. If you missed my 6 p.m. Live, then please make sure that you tune in tomorrow. I will be going live at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please be there on time. But I'm going to go ahead and dive into day 3 notes so that you get a quick update on what's going on. Not going to spend too much time on this because I'm pretty sure a lot of this will come back up. So at the beginning of today, around 10 a.m., Cassie was asked a question by the prosecutors. What are these? They were 2 hard drives, 2 flash drives that had photos and messages on them. From there, the prosecutors handed the drives to Cassie and she begins to talk about them. During this time, the prosecutors bring back up the FO that was currently going on at that time when D-Rock came in and told Diddy that Suge Knight was spotted downtown LA. This is being brought back up to establish Diddy's fits of rage that he would go into. Cassie more so spoke on how his face looked and how she pleaded with him not to do anything crazy. Cassie stated that she fought back during the early months of their relationship. The anger that she would receive from Diddy, she said, was sometimes just too much. He just would get into these ways, of course, as I said previously, if she didn't even talk a certain way. So let's fast forward to the 2016 incident where we're at the Intercontinental and we all saw the video from CNN. There was another portion of that video that was not released. That was released today, 15 minutes in full, where you can see Cassie on the phone calling for security. Israel Flores ends up coming upstairs to assist Cassie, confronts Diddy. Cassie is able to go into the room and gather her belongings before she leaves the hotel in an Uber. At that time, I just want to point, Israel Flores was standing at the front of the room. That means that 9 times out of 10, he saw who was in the room with them. From that incident, Cassie proceeds to take the Uber home, and the prosecutors, they ask her if anyone was at her home. And she said, yes, her friend Carrie Morgan was at her home. From there, Carrie saw her face. Mind you, in the back of the Uber, Cassie took a selfie where it shows her lip black and blue and she's pretty bruised up. Carrie Morgan proceeds to call 911 and the police come out. Cassie actually changed her clothes so that they wouldn't be able to see the bruises that were on her. The police end up leaving, and then lo and behold, Cassie stated that she stayed in a private building, right? He came and started banging on the door after this entire event occurred. But there's one part that I'm going to read so that you really, really get the details. So the prosecutors asked Cassie, it was some messages that were sent. She was shown part of the video and asked, who is the standing in the video with you? And she said, oh, that's Jules. And they said, who is Jules? Jules is an escort. So that right there proved that they were at the Intercontinental for an FO. She said that she texted Diddy the selfie that showed her fat lip to make him at least feel guilty about it. And he texted her back and said that he was being arrested. Cassie did not believe him. And then eventually that's when he came. She said she plugged her phone in and went to bed. But eventually he showed up and was banging on the door in the building that she stayed in. It was ultimately a private building. From there, she said that she contacted KK, who is Christina Coram, along with D-Rock, because those were like her safe spaces. Those were people that she felt as though she could go to in order to feel safe. And mind you, that is, D-Rock is also the same person that Gina also identified as being a person that assisted her when she was in a situation with Diddy. That same night, Cassie was supposed to go to an event. And she still was made to go to the after party for the pictures and so forth, but she had to wear makeup and sunglasses in order to hide all of everything that was going on. Then the prosecutors move on to show Cassie a series of photos of different escorts. Cassie reveals that Diddy was into Latin men at that time, and there was a gentleman named Islander who he was fond of in LA. Then the prosecutors go to show her another photo, and Cassie said, "Oh, that's Tommy." But she said, "I also know him as Greg." The person she identified was Jonathan Audie. This morning, I made a video about Jonathan Audie making an exclusive interview. I'm pretty sure he will be taking the stand here shortly. Cassie spoke about a FO where Diddy pulled her out of the Blind Dragon during her 29th birthday in order to complete an FO. Diddy had his security guards come and find her. Cassie stated at numerous times that the blackmail videos were shown to her to instill fear in her, and every single time she asked him to delete those videos. She said there was a time where they were headed out to Atlantic City to meet with DJ Who Kid, and he became once again violent within that situation. She said that Uncle Paulie James Cruz were there to witness it, and she said that the security guards lined the room. Cassie was shown a series of emails, then a series of messages where Cassie informed Diddy that she had gotten a UTI. She was being very open with him and stated that she did not want to complete any more of the FOs. Cassie also stated that she had sores on the inside of her mouth from doing oral excessively. She even stated that the gentleman Jules would go with them to different X clubs around town, and he was also in the room when he beat her at times. Cassie was asked, in what cities did Diddy put his hands on her? She stated Miami, LA, and NYC. There was an incident where she was supposed to go to a concert in Canada to see Drake. And prior to leaving, Diddy was upset. He wanted to do a FO, so he blacked her eye, her face, and she didn't want to go. D-Rock ended up taking her to the doctor, and she put her hair over her face and her eye to cover the damage, and they proceeded to have an FO in Canada. And then they went to the Hamptons where she was told to find an escort. His name was Dave. They had another FO there. She said at that point she took GHB and went into what she called a G-hole and blacked out. When she woke up, they were freaking out, and she was in the shower, and she said she proceeded to go off on everyone in the room, which was Diddy and the escort. And she says she now has a permanent scar from that beating. There was another FO that happened in the Canes. It was a movie premiere where Diddy accused her of stealing drugs and ended up kicking her off of the boat where her passport and the rest of her belongings actually was. Cassie said that she traded in her flight for a commercial flight to get away from Diddy, and Diddy did the same exact thing and proceeded to sit on the plane beside her and show her FO videos and threatened to release them if she did not comply with what he wanted. At the age of 19, was when Cassie identified that Diddy actually first abused her. She said that she was knocked on the side of her head and fell in the floor of the back of the Escalade, to where he proceeded to stomp on her head for 10 consecutive minutes. She was then taken to, what's the name of that hotel? I might have to do or tell you guys in the second one because it's a lot. But she was taken to a hotel where she stayed there for roughly a week and a half, and an assistant was made to bring her ice cream because she was so black and blue from the actual incident. So I'm going to go ahead and stop right here because there's a whole nother series of events that occurred. So if you haven't already, please like, share, comment, and tell a friend to come and tap in and get the latest and greatest of my news updates. And if you have any questions, just drop them down in the comments, and I'll see you guys in a second.